Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to Keep Her Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 22 minutes or less. We're going to jump right into weather because, Jefferson, that haze sticking around. It's gotten a lot thicker, it seems like, over the last couple of days.
Yeah, haze and smoke concerns, I think, is going to be kind of the biggest topic of conversation as we do head throughout this Thursday. I know that's the second weather headline, but that's just going to be an overarching theme through today, tomorrow, and the weekend. Haze and smoke will be locally dense at times, and it will have an impact on our air quality too. Now, as we take a look at that top weather headline, in terms of temperatures, we do have one more very hot day on the way for today before we start to see a cooling trend as we go through the weekend and next week. Also, as we head through the weekend and next week, we are going to see some shower chances arriving to our forecast area. We'll talk about all of these weather headlines in more depth coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in the Tri-Cities. A man is now in custody facing vehicular homicide charges after being accused of being involved in a fatal hit and run late Friday night. According to Pasco police, it happened at around 9 p.m. in the 700 block of West Clark Street. 42-year-old Lorenzo Ahoya Ramos was hit by a car while crossing the street, and the driver fled the scene. Now that man is sitting in the Benton County Jail. And in Yakima County, a Grandview man is sitting in jail after crashing his car into a pedestrian, killing him. According to State Patrol, just before 10:30 last night, 29-year-old Estrada Martinez was on the shoulder of I-82 near Sunnyside, while a 31-year-old was eastbound on that same road. The 31-year-old hit Martinez, who died at the scene, and troopers say drugs or alcohol were involved in the crash. Now that 31-year-old has pending charges. And just before 10 last night in Grant County, a driver was heading east on State Route 26 near milepost 10 when they lost control of their car, left the roadway, and rolled. The driver partially ejected during the violent crash. The vehicle also caught fire before eventually coming to a rest on its side about 50 feet from the roadway. The driver died at the scene, and it's unclear how that driver lost control of their car. A Yakima man is facing assault charges after being accused of throwing rocks at two missionaries from the Church of Latter-day Saints. Yakima police responded to a 911 call at about 5:30 in the afternoon on August 17th. They say a 33-year-old man had stepped out of his Ford Mustang on West Pierce Street and South 12th Avenue and started throwing rocks at the missionaries. They told police that the man had been following them and even threatened them with a dog. They initially did not intend to press charges, but eventually the missionaries filed a police report. The 33-year-old contacted police and turned himself in. Kennewick police are investigating after reports of a shooting Tuesday night. It happened at around 10:30 in the evening in the area of West Grand Ronde Avenue and North Kent Street. When officers arrived, they found 4 shell casings, but no victims and no property damage. Officers are asking anyone with information about what happened to contact non-emergency dispatch. As lawsuits against Kadlec Regional Medical Center continue to mount, the Richland Police Department is now investigating a criminal complaint from a woman who claims to have been sexually assaulted by a Kadlec doctor during a medical exam. Dr. Mark Mulholland is no longer employed by Kadlec, but his former patients say the hospital failed to take action when they reported inappropriate conduct. So far, Richland Police tell us at least 2 women have filed reports, but the attorneys for at least one of the alleged victims say Richland Police told them they wouldn't file any charges because the assaults happened during medical exams.
It's been Washington law for decades that just because sex assault occurs during a medical examination by someone wearing a white coat, that does not insulate anyone.
Now, the Richland Police Department confirmed they are actively investigating a recent report and added that the previous investigation in 2023 didn't produce enough probable cause to make an arrest. As for Kadlec, they say they're unable to comment on pending litigation, adding the doctor is not currently practicing at the clinic. We'll continue to follow the story and bring any updates as we get them. Switching gears this morning, a bankruptcy judge is now getting involved in the city of Cle Elum's Chapter 9 bankruptcy case to help settle the dispute with the developer City Heights Holdings. The city filed for bankruptcy in June following a $26 million debt tied to a failed housing development agreement. That debt stems from a court ruling that Cle Elum violated its contract over a planned 962-home project. U.S. bankruptcy judge Benjamin Hirsch was appointed to the case on August 28th to facilitate settlement talks. Despite the appointment, all court deadlines and schedules remain unchanged. The Kennewick Irrigation District just finished cleaning out the canal system after a recent chemical treatment, and they posted these pictures of the mounds of algae that were built up and removed. It can clog gates, screens, pump intakes, and slows everything down, and can mean less water pressure for things like sprinklers. They note that although not all algae is toxic, the only way to really tell is through lab testing, so it's best to just avoid it. And a recent uptick in rat sightings has alarmed folks across the Tri-Cities. However, when speaking with the health department about this, we learned that the rat populations and rat-borne illnesses have not increased significantly. Despite this unalarming news, leaders recommend removing shrubs within 3 feet of your home to deter rats from building nests near foundations, and to use caution when cleaning up after them.
It's when we come in contact with their urine, with their feces, with saliva, then we might get bit. We might be cleaning up after them, their nesting materials, their droppings. That is where the chances for human illness come from.
Health leaders say the best practice when cleaning rat droppings is to use wet towels rather than vacuums to avoid making any potential illnesses airborne. And in state news, Washington is among the West Coast states that will come up with their own vaccine guidelines. It comes amid the Trump administration's mass firings of doctors and scientists at the FDA and CDC. Washington, along with Oregon and California, are joining forces with something called the West Coast Health Alliance, picking up where state leaders believe the federal government is now lacking when it comes to vaccines. KOMO's Jackie Kent spoke with the new state health secretary about what people in Washington can expect.
Washington is joining California and Oregon state agencies to make vaccine recommendations outside of CDC guidance. New Health Secretary Dennis Worsham says science will drive the state's public health policy to help prevent the spread of disease and prevent early, avoidable deaths.
It's been concerning to watch what has been happening over a period of time under this federal administration around the CDC and starting to remove data, starting to remove some of the science-based process that we have relied on for so many years.
It was in June the 3 states condemned Secretary Robert F. Kennedy's removal of 17 members of the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. The governors say that hinders the CDC's ability to prepare the public for respiratory virus season. Some Washington state nurses claim that could put a strain on their workload.
It was something that should remind all of us that nurses, physicians, healthcare providers are the ones that will have to deal with the consequences of bad decisions that are made at the top.
That's where this new alliance hopes to fill in the gaps as state health agencies review guidance from national medical organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and other West Coast health agencies. Washington State Nurses Association President Justin Gill says he believes this alliance is a big win for patients and providers.
Patients who want to seek healthcare that is not biased, that is not political, and is focused on evidence.
Secretary Worsham says it's too soon to weigh in on the new COVID vaccines and vaccine availability in the state. This after U.S. regulators limited use for many Americans. He says there could be more information released in the coming days.
Jackie Kent, thank you. Secretary Worsham says other than COVID, no other guidance from the CDC has changed, like guidance on childhood vaccinations. He says the alliance will have more specifics in the coming weeks about impacts to people's insurance and a timeline for its recommendations. A little closer to home, all students in the Mapton School District are currently taking classes at Arts Fox Elementary while the HVAC work continues at the middle and high school. District leaders have told us despite some misconceptions, the system did not fail and that the students were moved to the elementary school due to the ongoing construction, with the new chiller for the HVAC system expected to arrive by early October. The district superintendent says the transition has gone smoothly, and with the elementary school having 38 classrooms, there's enough space for all of the teachers and students with no doubled up classes.
We have been able to organize the building layout in a way that there are no shared spaces between any primary or secondary students at all. They have different entrance and exits. They have different eating locations. They have different locations for passing period, for library use, for office use.
Now, secondary students have a slightly adjusted schedule starting and ending 10 minutes earlier, with makeup days being added to the calendar.
When you're faced with these type of things, you have a choice. You can either deal with what you're given and deal with it to the best of your ability, or you can kind of crumble. And so
I'm just super, super proud of our community, of our teachers, our district. We really came together and we made it happen for kids. And it's empowering to see a small community like Mapton come together and say, nope, this isn't going to sour our year.
Superintendent Mangarelli says future construction will be planned for summer to avoid school year disruptions. Wildfire season is still in full swing, no surprise there. And one of the fires closest to us is the Wildcat fire, which is burning a few miles west-southwest of Goose Prairie near Bumping Lake. So far, it's burned nearly 5,500 acres and is 0% contained. Started by lightning on August 25th. Because of our smoky air, though, leaders with the Yakima Health District encourage you to wear a mask if you have health issues and plan to spend an extended amount of time outdoors.
Breathing in wildfire smoke can cause different health issues, including a sore throat, headaches, burning eyes, coughing, shortness of breath. So it is important to continue monitoring the air quality in your area to make those informed decisions.
Now, Ruiz also suggested staying indoors as much as possible, and if you're going to be using air conditioners in your homes or vehicles, recirculate the air so there's no air coming from outside inside.
And groups that can be more sensitive, such as children and adults over 65, those with heart and lung diseases, pregnant women. Those are individuals that are particularly at risk. So making sure we are also looking out for one another during this time where we do see unhealthy air quality.
More than 200 firefighters are working to contain the Wildcat fire. As of this morning, it's 5,541 acres. Now, Jefferson, let's talk about this real fast because you saw the satellite imagery and you're showing everybody this morning. You can see that plume of smoke from the Wildcat fire, but that's not the only fire that's producing a plume like this.
No, there are several big fires burning in Washington state, and we did see a couple of fires yesterday produce plumes of smoke up to around 40,000 feet high. That's how tall this plume of smoke got, and we did see a couple of these fires. Again, as I've mentioned, the Wildcat fire, one of those. As we go through the satellite loop, you can just see the explosion of this plume yesterday. Again, just one of many fires creating haze and smoke around our viewing area. Let's take a look at the haze and smoke forecast moving forward in time as we go throughout the course of the day. Those reds and orange colors are certainly going to envelop the entirety of the inland Northwest, bringing potentially periods of poor air quality. We are going to see a similar story taking place as we go through tomorrow. So again, as we just talked about, if you suffer from any kind of respiratory illnesses, limiting your time outdoors is certainly something that should be on top of mind. In fact, literally all of eastern Washington is under an air quality alert until further notice. Every single county in eastern Washington, I should say, because that wildfire smoke could have an impact on our air quality. What I can say is that as of this morning, we are waking up to moderate air quality around the region, and it wouldn't surprise me too much to see that air quality potentially dip into the unhealthy category as we do advance forward in time throughout today and tomorrow. As we take a look at high temperatures today, it's also going to be very hot around the forecast area on this Thursday. And I would say that because of the haze and smoke, temperatures today likely not getting as hot as the temperatures projected on your screen, but still very hot nonetheless. I would say mid to upper 90s in the Tri-Cities today, mid to upper 90s for the Yakima Valley, mid to upper 90s in the Kittitas Valley today, with mid to upper 90s for the Blue Mountain foothills. Again, as everybody is looking at that haze and smoke overhead. Now let's talk about the potential for precipitation as we go into Saturday. We are going to be looking at chances of showers and thunderstorms really developing along the Cascades, chances of showers and thunderstorms along the Blue Mountains as well. And we can't totally discount some showers leaking into the Kittitas and Yakima valleys and some showers and thunderstorms leaking into the Blue Mountain foothills either. As we go into Sunday, nearly an identical scenario is going to be taking place. Chances of showers and thunderstorms along the Cascades and along the Blue Mountains, with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms on Sunday leaking into the Kittitas Valley and Yakima valleys, and a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms leaking into the Blue Mountain foothills. As we do progress into Monday, better opportunities for showers and thunderstorms for our population centers. Even though the futurecast doesn't show it, I am even giving the Tri-Cities a slight chance of showers as we do head into Monday, and then going into Tuesday, much better chances of showers and thunderstorms really region-wide. Now, a piece of good news along with maybe the shower and thunderstorm potential, is going to be a cooling trend. As we go into Friday, temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 90s around the forecast area, upper 80s to low 90s on Saturday, and then by Sunday, looking at mid to upper 80s. And what I will say is that as we go into next week, Monday and Tuesday, we could see highs down to the 70s, which I think so many people will enjoy. Right now, I'm going to toss it back over to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. The Tri-Cities could be a step closer to getting recreational mountain bike trails. A proposal being considered by Benton County could result in nearly 270 acres of land in the Badger Mountain area being acquired from the State Department of Natural Resources for bikers to use. County leaders say it's been a growing ask from folks in the community.
One of the things that we've noticed through our parks planning and just other interactions with the community is that there just really isn't a good spot in the Tri-Cities of any size on public land that's available primarily for mountain biking.
Now, an application for the land transfer is expected to be submitted by the end of this month, though the entire process could take up to 2 years to be completed. If approved, the land will be transferred at no cost. And if you need a quick fix while riding in the Yakima Greenway, you're in luck. The Southwest Rotary of Yakima has set up 4 new bike repair stations along the path. Each station comes stocked with tools, an air pump, and replacement parts to help get cyclists back on the move. Look for the stations at Sarge Hubbard Park, Suntide's Greenway parking area, the parking lot off Orchard Wright Road, and the small park near the entrance to Nat Cheese. In a press release, Rotary President Matt Reed said the cycling community is growing from toddlers to racers, and the goal was to give back in a way that makes riding safer and more convenient for everyone. A 5th station is being built at the 16th Avenue Greenway. And sticking in Yakima, city leaders are now moving forward on a couple of projects, one to improve an intersection and another for police staffing at the Central Washington State Fair. KIMA's Anissa Williams reports on what council members approved at Tuesday night's meeting.
The Fair Avenue and East Nob Hill Boulevard intersection will soon be reconstructed to add left-lane turns, a much-needed upgrade as none currently exist. The project began more than a decade ago when the city received a federal grant through the Yakima Valley Conference of Governments. That initial funding covered design and right-of-way work. Additional grant funding was awarded 2 years ago, bringing the total federal support to over $2 million. The city's required 13.5% match is being covered through a combination of Transport Benefit District funds and stormwater utility revenue. The only general fund contribution has already been spent.
So basically, we'll get some work started this year. Not going to start till after the fair, right. And then most of the work will be next year. We'll see how much they get done this winter, but we start with all the underground, so there's all that water work that needs to take place.
The council also voted unanimously to approve a $22,000 grant agreement from the Central Washington Fair Association to cover policing costs during the fair. Council members asked whether that amount would be enough and what would happen if the cost exceeded it.
Well, we did a cost analysis of last year's, and last year's was a little bit less, and we fell right in the ballpark of staffing it. We're going to change our staffing metrics a little bit this year to ensure we stay close to the budget and make sure that we still have officers on the street. So this will pay a lot of overtime to bring people in on their days off, and so then should make it a little better for both the patrol officers and the fair staff.
The grant will be issued as a lump sum, and the department has flexibility in how it's used.
In years past, we've sent them a reimbursement of costs up to a certain amount, which is what we had done in previous years. We're going to utilize some technology that's a group in the valley that's working on the real-time crime center, and so we will have some staff manning the cameras, but the policing services will be done by Yakima Police Department.
Okay, I'm Anissa Williams. Thank you. Washington State University Tri-Cities is hosting a new art exhibit exploring a prominent part of our region's history. The exhibit, which launches today, features 17 different displays of nuclear history from the peak era of the Hanford site and revisits a 1992 collaboration between Seattle artists and nuclear energy supporters. Organizers say they're excited about the exhibit's potential impact on the community.
We feel this exhibit is a space, it's a neutral space where people can come and reflect on, what happened in the past, the new nuclear, and art is a way that may facilitate a conversation. Really like to see there be an ongoing discussion that would continue through the years.
Now, the exhibit will be accompanied by additional programming, including roundtable discussions and community events focused on energy challenges. You can view the exhibit through February at the Art Center in the CIC building. And finally, check this out. A Kennewick native is making her way to Harvard University and sharing her journey. Yesenia Aquino Batista works for Heritage University as a regional assistant director. She was accepted to Harvard University for an online master's program in educational leadership. She says her undergraduate studies influenced her application to Harvard, with her mission with this master's program to further diversity at Heritage University and bring different global perspectives.
I always say the things that you don't do are all the opportunities you miss. So I was just like, let's go for it. So I did it, and then surprise, surprise, I was like, oh. Okay, I got the acceptance letter, the confetti, and the congratulations, and I was very shocked.
Yesenia attended her first day of class yesterday. And thank you for watching this episode of Keep Her Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites. That's KIMA and KeeperTV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a terrific Thursday, everybody.